I can't take the WNBA serious anymore. They hate their only cash cow in Caitlin Clark. This is the only league on earth where the players have dated each other. Now they fined Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard $30 apiece for just jawing at each other on the court.
The WNBA has once again revealed its double standards, this time fining Caitlin Clark for the supposed offense of defending herself in a heated moment with Atlanta Dream's Ryan Howard. In a league that says it empowers strong women, it seems that strength is only acceptable under certain circumstances, ones that shift depending on the player involved. This episode highlights the league's uneven discipline and disturbing tendency to penalize passion while turning a blind eye to deeper issues in women's basketball.
You know, there'll be the big talked about moment, Ryan Howard, Caitlin Clark, jawing back and forth. But there's another example, right? Clark in that moment saying, I'm not scared of you. No, I'm not afraid. Then give her a sarcastic thump.
The tension boiled over during the Indiana Fever's rematch against the Atlanta Dream, with emotions flaring as both teams fought fiercely for dominance. Just 2 days earlier, the Fever had endured a tough loss to Atlanta, and Thursday night's showdown at State Farm Arena offered a shot at redemption. With 17,044 fans filling the arena, many paying top dollar to see Caitlin Clark in action, the atmosphere was electric and primed for high-stakes drama.
What was that about, man? She was saying, don't do that again. But I'm trying to figure out why she gets so mad. I guess because of the push right there. Kind of like a get off me a little bit. But she's holding it right there. Look at the hand checking, right? We got the hand checking going on the hip. Putting it on the chest. How you hand checking? You can't hand check. This isn't the 80s. What are we doing? Hold on, man. She's hand checking right here. Then Caitlin trying to get by, right? But her hand's still there.
What unfolded was both a showcase of elite basketball and a telling snapshot of the WNBA's current political landscape. In Indiana's hard-fought 81-76 win, Caitlin Clark squared off in a tense moment with Atlanta's Ryan Howard. It was a flashpoint that would shape not only the game, but also the league's reaction to competitive intensity. The confrontation captured exactly what fans crave from top-tier athletes in a high-stakes matchup: grit, passion, and the raw emotion that makes basketball so thrilling to watch.
I just don't know what it is about giving Caitlin Clark foul calls that has the referees so averse, but calling more on her. And basketball is so mental. Like, when you get into someone's head, it can really mess the rest of their game up. It can mess the momentum up.
Howard, eager to assert control and possibly unsettle the league's most high-profile player, initiated contact that pushed past the usual limits of basketball physicality. But rather than retreat or look to the officials for help, Clark held her ground with the trademark toughness that's defined her career. In a moment that should have been praised as a display of elite competitiveness, Clark stared Howard down and delivered a line that captured her fearless spirit perfectly. "I'm not scared of you."
And in case you're wondering what Caitlin Clark said just there was, "I'm not scared of you." She's going to have to wear a hard hat this season. I mean, seriously. The league is going to try to take her out in every game.
The crowd roared in response to this raw display of competitive spirit, exactly the kind of energy that makes professional sports must-watch entertainment. This was basketball in its purest form. Two top-tier athletes pushing each other to the edge, neither backing down. It was the kind of moment that builds iconic rivalries and ignites fan passion. But in today's WNBA, standing your ground apparently comes with a cost. What followed exposed everything flawed about the league's current stance on discipline and player management. Instead of applauding Clark's intensity or acknowledging the moment as a natural part of the game, the WNBA chose to penalize her reaction to Howard's aggression. The $30 fine may be minor financially, but the message it sends is far from small. This decision raises serious questions about what the WNBA truly expects from its players. The league brands itself as a platform for strong, fearless women who won't be pushed around. Its marketing celebrates empowerment, grit, and elite-level toughness. But when one of its biggest stars demonstrates exactly that, in real time, the league responds with a fine and a quiet rebuke.
I did really enjoy seeing the return of Trash Talk Caitlin Clark. because sometimes people forget, like, it's a fun little extra add-on of her game. She and Ryan Howard got into it a bit early, where Ryan Howard was like, "You're in Atlanta," and Caitlin was like,
Timing of this punishment speaks volumes. All season long, Caitlin Clark has faced relentless physicality from opponents more focused on testing her toughness than playing clean basketball. From Angel Reese's ongoing social media jabs to the repeated hard fouls and tense encounters that have become routine for Clark, she has consistently responded with professionalism and restraint. Yet the moment she finally asserts herself, choosing words over retaliation, the league decides she's crossed some arbitrary line. This kind of selective enforcement sets a troubling precedent for how the WNBA treats competitive fire. The league seems content to let months of social media sniping, passive-aggressive comments, and orchestrated drama play out unchecked. Players are free to throw shade, post cryptic digs, and subtly chip away at each other's reputations with no pushback. But when one player delivers a direct, honest statement in the middle of a high-intensity game, that's what earns a fine.
Now fans are petitioning for the All-Star game to not be held in Indiana because it's clearly not safe. There's a petition for Dave Portnoy to never be able to attend WNBA games. There is a petition for Caitlin Clark to be arrested. I'm not joking when I say this. Arrested. This is something that has also gone viral on social media. And I'm only bringing this up because the WNBA pays attention to what's going on social media. So if they're paying attention to it, I'm following what the league is saying. Like what the precedents that the league is setting, I'm following that because I'm covering the league. If they're going to pay attention to viral things on social media, I guess we have to.
The most concerning part of this situation isn't the fine itself. It's what the fine symbolizes in the larger picture of WNBA discipline. The league has shown a clear pattern of inconsistent enforcement, where the consequences seem more influenced by which players are involved than by the nature of the incidents. This double standard creates a two-tiered system that erodes trust and sends mixed signals about what kind of behavior is actually acceptable. Take, for example, the stark difference in how the league responded to Clark's straightforward in-game exchange with Howard compared to its handling of other ongoing issues. Angel Reese has spent months waging what amounts to a sustained campaign against Clark, using social media to rehash old plays and stir up drama. Despite this being a persistent distraction, there's been no fine, no warning, and seemingly no concern from league leadership about how this behavior reflects on the WNBA. The message is loud and clear. Passive aggression, online feuds, and performative controversy are fair game. But speaking directly and competitively on the court is somehow beyond the pale. This upside-down disciplinary approach favors false harmony over real competitive edge, fostering a climate where players are subtly pushed to air grievances online instead of resolving them face-to-face, like true professionals.
Sheryl Swoopes, this is kind of what you get for kind of not jumping on the tide, jumping on the boat. You were supposed to go and elevate with this whole situation. Your broadcasting career, everything, Sheryl. Your podcasting, whatever you do, you're supposed to be elevating. But instead, you decided to show hate, very clear hate towards Caitlin Clark.
Did you really think you could spread falsehoods about Caitlin Clark for an entire year and keep your broadcasting position? That's the question no one had to ask Sheryl Swoopes, because the answer is clear. She's been officially removed from all WNBA broadcasts for the 2025 season.
She got fired, but it looked like you got fired, bro. It looked like she got fired. I just gotta keep it real. It looked like she got fired.
The dismissal isn't about just one poor opinion or a single mistake. It's the result of a deliberate campaign targeting the WNBA's rising star, and the league has finally had enough. Curious about what actually happened behind the scenes? In this video, we'll dive into the details of the situation, how she's handling the fallout, and why she ultimately lost her job. Ready to find out? Let's get into it.
I won't be missing you broadcasting the games because when you broadcasted the games, it was so hard for you to mention Caitlin Clark. How are you up there talking about, you kept mentioning, oh, the Indiana Fever are doing this. Oh, Kelsey Mitchell and the Indiana Fever. Oh, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and those girls are doing. Oh, you had such the hardest time mentioning Caitlin Clark's name. Why? I don't get it. I really don't know.
Did you know Sheryl Swoopes has a history of getting fired? Before the recent broadcasting controversy, she had already built a concerning track record that goes back years. While her Hall of Fame playing career earned her recognition as one of the WNBA's trailblazing stars, her career after basketball has been marked by a recurring pattern of troubling behavior.
Loyola University basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation accused of mistreating players. College coach is not only under fire, but under investigation after reports that the majority of her roster has decided to leave.
The warning signs were impossible to ignore at Loyola University in Chicago. In July 2016, Swoopes was let go as head coach after a mass exodus of players, something that should have set off major alarms for anyone thinking of hiring her again. What kind of coach loses 10 out of 12 returning players in just one season? That's not typical turnover. That's a full-blown crisis in your program.
That she mistreated players.
It was the environment she had created. I was belittled, humiliated, made to feel extremely small.
Head coach since 2013. Last year, 5 of her players reportedly transferred to different programs. And this year, a reported 10 of the team's 12 players aren't planning on coming back.
Former Loyola player Kate Sohn didn't hold back when discussing Swoopes' coaching style. Just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a great coach. She seems to thrive off drama wherever she goes. The drama is always there. Other players spoke about an emotionally unstable atmosphere, where Swoopes would cry during games and practices, threaten scholarships, and share personal details inappropriately. Being a great player doesn't guarantee success as a mentor, and Swoopes clearly shows how that disconnect can manifest.
Former Loyola basketball player Kate Sohn says Swoopes caused the players to live in fear, that she routinely threatened that they would lose their scholarships or she would cut them from the team.
It made it hard to play. It wasn't about working hard and having fun anymore. It was about surviving.
The situation with Lauren Hibbert stands out as particularly troubling. Hibbert claims Swoopes pressured her into signing a medical hardship form, which ended her athletic career, with the false assurance that she would stay on as a team manager. When Hibbert later found out she wouldn't even be traveling with the team, the sense of betrayal was complete. This manipulation led to formal complaints and ultimately played a role in Swoopes' dismissal. Fast forward to 2024, and we see the same dismissive and unsupportive behavior aimed at Caitlin Clark. During her infamous February appearance on Gil's Arena, Swoopes couldn't even get basic facts right. She wrongly stated Clark was in her 5th college season, when it was actually her 4th. She also claimed Clark took 40 shots per game, a gross exaggeration considering Clark averaged 22.7. These weren't mere mistakes. They seemed deliberately intended to downplay Clark's accomplishments.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
What was even more telling was Swoopes' dismissive tone when discussing Clark's record-breaking achievements. She remarked, "So is it truly a broken record? I don't know. I don't think so." When asked about Clark's potential in the WNBA, Swoopes bluntly stated, "Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely not. Not going to happen." The disdain was unmistakable.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
These weren't isolated incidents, but part of a year-long campaign that revealed more about Swoopes than about Clark. The pattern is clear. When others succeed or challenge her authority, Swoopes responds with hostility rather than support. Whether it's college players transferring in droves or a rising star shattering records, Swoopes seems unable to celebrate others' success without feeling threatened. This toxic behavior eventually caught up with her at the Dallas Wings, where her commentary became too controversial even for a league that usually defends its legends. The consistent threads between her firing at Loyola and her removal from broadcasting paint a picture of someone who has never learned to adapt or grow from criticism. So, what really happened with Dallas last year?
And then obviously you guys remember last year when Dallas had to pretty much say, hey, you can't broadcast an Indiana Fever game after the little comments and things you had the game before or something like that. Yeah, I believe it was that. And Nancy Lieberman was the one who pretty much confronted Sheryl Swoopes about the whole situation and let her know, like, hey, you know, we got to keep it this, we got to keep it that, keep it about basketball.
The Wings broadcast controversy wasn't just about Caitlin Clark. It was about Swoopes making enemies in all the wrong places. When basketball royalty starts publicly calling out one of their own, it's clear something major is happening behind the scenes. That's exactly what occurred when Swoopes found herself in the crosshairs of two of basketball's most influential figures, Stephen A. Smith and Nancy Lieberman.
You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it.
Stephen A. Smith never hesitated to speak his mind. He didn't just disagree with Swoopes. He dismantled her credibility on national television. In one particularly harsh segment, Smith directly questioned her motives for consistently failing to recognize Caitlin Clark's contributions to the Indiana Fever's success. "Do you have any idea how that makes you look?" Smith challenged, his voice growing more intense. "How are you going to ignore Caitlin Clark?" What made Smith's rebuke so damaging wasn't just his massive platform, but his sharp insinuation that Swoopes' silence about Clark was intentional and unprofessional. Given her extensive basketball knowledge, her failure to acknowledge Clark's impact seemed impossible to justify.
I've known Sheryl since she was in college. I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first ESPYs. I've known Sheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that, you know, there was this quote by Sheryl that said, you know, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game.
Picking a fight with Stephen A. Smith was just the beginning of Swoopes' professional downfall. Nancy Lieberman, a broadcasting colleague and former friend, took things even further. After hearing Swoopes' comments about Caitlin Clark, Lieberman reportedly called Swoopes directly to confront her about the inaccuracies in her statements. That conversation clearly went badly. So badly that Lieberman later confirmed their relationship was essentially over. The fallout was swift and deeply embarrassing. In a twist almost too perfect for maximum humiliation, Lieberman ended up replacing Swoopes on the Dallas Wings broadcasts. This wasn't just a simple personnel change, it was a public declaration of who held credibility in basketball circles. Lieberman's willingness to challenge Swoopes and then take her job spoke volumes about just how far Swoopes had fallen professionally.
That's what Nancy was all about. She was keeping it very, hey, let's bring this women's game let's bring it all together. Let's grow this thing together. And the question was talking about how older people or older players in the league pretty much should going about what's going on in the league. And Nancy knows Caitlin Clark is the biggest. She's got the eyes. She's got the fans. Let's not try to sink it. Let's try to get on the boat with her. And let's grow the game.
These explosive confrontations didn't just damage Swoopes' reputation with fans. They shut her out within the professional basketball community. When heavyweights like Stephen A. Smith and Nancy Lieberman publicly challenge your integrity, networks and organizations take notice. For the Dallas Wings and their broadcast partner, these feuds likely confirmed what viewer complaints had already hinted at. Swoopes had become more of a liability than an asset to their brand. With all this baggage weighing her down, how will it affect Swoopes in the 2025 season?
Indiana Fever preseason has officially come, and it has officially gone.
The Indiana Fever did finish the WNBA preseason undefeated.
Caitlin Clark is launching shots from ranges that seem almost illegal for a basketball court, while Lexi Hull continues to carve out a reputation as the Fever's go-to weapon in crunch time. As one insider put it, "I think Caitlin Clark may have even extended her range." she's making those deep shots look effortless.
The Indiana Fever close out the preseason 3-0. Victory against the Mystics, victory against the Brazilian national team, and another victory this afternoon against the Atlanta Dream.
In their final preseason matchup, the Fever wrapped up an undefeated 3-0 run, but not without some tense moments. A concerning injury to a core player and unexpected remarks from their Atlanta Dream rivals added drama to the win. From standout performances to surprising twists, here's the full breakdown of how Indiana closed out their perfect preseason in Atlanta.
When I watch the Fever, even when they're not at their best, one thing I can't help but think is that they're just going to run teams off the floor and destroy them with their firepower. They just have so many players that can beat you and can score. And, Dewana Bonner didn't even start this game. Sophie Cunningham started in her place.
Did you know Caitlin Clark was nearly sidelined for the Fever's final preseason game? Less than 24 hours before tip-off against the Atlanta Dream, Fever fans were anxiously refreshing their social media feeds, desperate for updates. The reason? Clark had collided with a practice player during the team's final workout, striking the same leg that had already been strained. The news took everyone by surprise.
They're just doing a drill, and if you're looking what happens here. Caitlin Clark pulls up. Caitlin Clark pulls up immediately. And a lot of people are saying that it's not the end of the world.
Picture the scene. The Fever's medical staff hurrying to assess their star rookie as the team's perfect preseason record hung in the balance. 2 wins, 0 losses, and now their top player was on the bench, ice pack on her leg. Fans began to worry if this was a sign of things to come. Was the pressure of the pro game already setting in? As the medical team conducted their evaluation, social media lit up with speculation. Would Clark miss the final preseason game? Could this affect her readiness for the regular season opener? With every minute, the questions only grew.
Coach just mentioned you've been limited in practice this week. Just how are you kind of working back from that leg injury?
Yeah, I think taking my time. I feel really good, honestly, and excited to get out there and play again tomorrow, work on things that we need to work on. And yeah, Maria's been great. Our medical staff has been really helpful. But I feel really good, honestly.
Then came the announcement that sent a wave of relief through the Fever fan base. Clark was cleared to play. Not only would she suit up, but she'd be in the starting lineup. Just like that, the injury scare faded into the background, becoming a footnote instead of the headline.
There's no reason to overdo anything right now. It's been the beginning of the season. Still don't play here for another week, but the last 2 days have been really, really good for myself.
You know what started? What caused it to get her?
I don't. Probably just a little too much basketball. I think, I love being in the gym, but I think understanding when to be in the gym and, when to recover and things like that. So I think just finding a balance and obviously just getting back into the swing of things. But yeah, it was nothing major or anything like that.
From the opening moments, it was obvious Clark wasn't holding back. She fired off shots from distances that left defenders looking powerless. WNBA analyst Robin Lundberg of Sports Illustrated took to X with a bold observation. I think Caitlin Clark may have even increased her range. She is shooting the deep ones like they are nothing.
Garns it. So second attempt, same spot, same result for Maya Caldwell. That's Caitlin Clark, top of the key, and drains her first triple of.
One particular three-pointer, launched from near the logo, instantly brought back memories of Clark's iconic shot just a week earlier at Iowa. Atlanta's defenders could do little more than watch as the ball soared high and splashed cleanly through the net. This wasn't just a rookie easing into the pro game. This was Caitlin Clark making a statement. By the final buzzer, she had silenced all doubts, finishing with 13 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds in just 23 minutes.
Natasha Howard gets the bucket. Step back triple. Kelsey Mitchell to the rim. Well, that's Caitlin Clark, top of the key, and drains her triple.
As the final buzzer sealed an 81-76 win over Atlanta, the Fever had done something noteworthy, a flawless 3-0 preseason sweep. What began with a scare ended with rising optimism about what this team could accomplish once the real games begin. With the score tight heading into the fourth, an unexpected hero stepped up for Indiana, and it wasn't Caitlin Clark. The spotlight turned to Lexi Hull, who had been steadily refining her game all preseason while adapting to a new role off the bench. It's worth noting that Hull closed out last season as a starter, proving to be a dependable two-way player, and, during that stretch, the league's hottest three-point shooter.
And now BG says she's rediscovered her love for the game, saying Atlanta reminds me of home. I'm back in the South, and this was the best decision of my life.
She is completely fine, just needing rest, so we will not see her for the rest of this ball game.
Yeah, we can't give out all our weapons.
Turnover as Matt Caldwell got a little too deep in.
However, with the arrival of new all-star free agent additions, Hull has embraced a bench role this season. But in this game, something felt different. There was a new confidence in her stride, a sharpness in her movements that turned heads. This wasn't the same player fans had seen before. This was someone poised to take over.
I think more than anything, just being able to practice with our team. We're getting a lot of good reps in practice, and I think confidence comes from that. Confidence comes from getting the reps, the game-like reps, over and over again in practice. And our team's super competitive. So every single day that we've had of training camp so far has felt pretty much game-like. Like we're all taking it very serious, and it starts in practice.
The Atlanta Dream kept pressing, challenging the Fever on every possession and putting their perfect preseason run in jeopardy. The tension inside the arena was palpable. Would Indiana's spotless record hold up? That's when Hull stepped up and took control. When the Fever needed offense the most, she answered with striking efficiency, slicing through defenders as if the lanes appeared just for her. She pulled up for contested mid-range jumpers like the defense wasn't even there. One standout moment saw her split two Dream defenders and glide in for a smooth finish at the rim.
It's like, nah, shoot that thing when you open.
Lexi Hull getting downhill, finds the bucket and one, as this will be the largest lead for Indiana.
Her impact extended far beyond the scoreboard. Hull's defensive energy disrupted Atlanta's rhythm, forcing turnovers and sparking fast break chances. Her court vision consistently set up teammates for easy looks. The Dream had no answer for Hull's relentless effort in the closing minutes. After the game, head coach Stephanie White offered a glimpse into Hull's growth, shedding light on what fans had just witnessed. When you accept your role, as Lexi does, you can't allow it to put you in a box, right? White said, emphasizing how Hull had fully embraced her responsibilities while continuing to elevate her overall game.
Lexi's playing with such a high level of confidence. You saw that the second half of last season, her starting to grow into that. I think you saw it a lot in Unrivaled as well. It unlocked, I think, a little bit of creativity. I think sometimes when you're a young player in this league, when you accept your role, as Lexi does, you can't allow it to put you in a box, right? Like your role can change throughout the course of a season. Your role can change throughout the course of career.
White highlighted Hull's growing creativity and the team's rising confidence in her decision-making. She's done a really good job of putting herself in position for that, the coach noted, clearly proud of Hull's development. Hull, in turn, credited the team's competitive practice environment for her clutch performance. Confidence comes from getting the reps, the game-like reps, over and over again in practice, she explained. She also pointed to her experience winning a championship in the Elite 3-on-3 League, which she said helped sharpen both her defensive instincts and one-on-one skills.
That it's going to be an exciting season. I think more than anything, we're a deep team, and I think everyone's really bought into trusting the process this season. It might not start off super pretty, but we know that putting in the work, putting in, trust into the coaching staff, trust in each other, that by the end of the season we'll be exactly where we want to be. So just excited, with the progress we've made even over just 3 games.
By the final buzzer, Hull had gone from role player to game changer, dropping 11 of her 14 points in the pivotal fourth quarter to help seal the victory. The stat sheet backed it up. Hull scoring under pressure was exactly what the Fever needed to close out the game. Her performance wasn't just impressive, it may very well reshape the entire dynamic of Indiana's rotation heading into the regular season.
Lexi does. You can't allow it to put you in a box, right? Like your role can change throughout the course of a season. Your role can change throughout the course of career. So you want to be able to stretch and expand. And I think Lexi's done a really good job of putting herself in position for that, running actions for her, allowing her to decision make. Hell, I think in the Washington game, we had her playing some point. So it's a tribute to the work that she's put in, the confidence that she's built with her discipline and work ethic in the off season. And you trust her on the floor. You trust her to make the right play and make the right read.
With Hull emerging as a dependable clutch performer off the bench, the Fever suddenly looked much deeper than many had anticipated. In a single game, she may have shifted from being a valuable contributor to becoming an exclamation point in Indiana's push to make a statement this season. But the game wasn't without its tense moments, one of which showed a side of Caitlin Clark that fans hope they rarely have to see. Midway through the second quarter, Clark drew attention for something other than her signature shooting. She picked up a technical foul, a moment that revealed just how fiercely competitive she truly is.
Make it 12-3 run as they are now just down 1 point.
Picture the moment. Clark fires a bounce pass, only to see it intercepted by the Dream and turned into a fast break layup by Brianna Jones. Clark clearly felt there should have been a foul on the play. Her frustration erupted. She grabbed the ball and fired it against the base of the hoop. The whistle was immediate. Technical foul on Clark, her first of the preseason. What happened next spoke volumes about the team chemistry already taking shape in Indiana. Sophie Cunningham, known for her own intense competitive spirit, stepped in as the calming force. As Clark continued to argue with the refs, Cunningham quickly pulled her aside, defusing the situation before it escalated. In that moment, she took on the role of veteran protector, ensuring the rookie star didn't land in deeper trouble.
Cunningham actually stepped on somebody's foot and turned her ankle and had to leave the game.
Here's where things took a turn. Not long after stepping in to calm Clark, Cunningham found herself in a tough spot of her own. In the third quarter, she leapt for a rebound and came down awkwardly on Ryan Howard's foot. The moment she landed, it was clear something was wrong. Cunningham dropped to the court, then limped over to the Fever bench, visibly in pain. The injury was later diagnosed as a right ankle issue, and she was listed as doubtful to return.
Hopefully the Fever are fully healthy going into that game. Hopefully Sophie Cunningham is good to go in that game. I know she was seen in a walking boot afterwards, but that's typical. It clearly wasn't a serious injury, but it doesn't mean it's going to be healthy a week from today either.
Fever fans held their breath. Could this injury affect the team's regular season outlook? Post-game, Coach Stephanie White offered some reassurance, sharing that Cunningham had told her, "I'll be fine." White added that Cunningham was already in a cold tub after the game, indicating the team was taking swift action to jumpstart recovery. Still, no official testing had been done on the ankle yet, leaving a bit of uncertainty as the season opener approaches.
I don't think so. She was in there getting in a cold tub, so she keeps saying I'll be fine, so I trust her.
Despite the tense and concerning moments, the game also showcased powerful acts of sportsmanship, reminding everyone what makes certain teams stand out. Before and after the final buzzer, players from both sides exchanged genuine gestures of respect. Hugs and heartfelt conversations between opponents proved that intense competition doesn't have to come at the expense of real connection. One especially meaningful moment, captured on camera, came between Caitlin Clark and Brittany Griner. Though the two stars spent little time on the court together, they shared a warm embrace after the game. Fans took notice, with one commenting, "Great respect from Clark and Griner." These subtle exchanges play a big role in shaping the culture of the league. The technical foul on Clark revealed more than just frustration. It showed the depth of her competitive fire and the strength of the Fever's team chemistry. We saw a rookie who refuses to back down, surrounded by veterans who know how to guide that intensity. At the same time, Cunningham's injury left fans wondering whether she'll be available for the season opener against Chicago.
We did a better job of taking care of the ball in the second half. I was disappointed that we had 10 first half turnovers. A lot of them were trying to force things that just weren't there. I didn't feel like we were patient enough to get into our offense. So we did a better job of taking care of the ball. I always love when we have a high assist to made field goal ratio. I think we're going to find a lot of success when that happens for us. Quality depth, they came in and made impact, no doubt. And being able to, hold the team to 34% from the field. All points of emphasis for us. And even though it's not always that pretty, it's progress, and that's what we need.
These moments of drama and sportsmanship captured the essence of what makes the WNBA truly special: an elite level of competition paired with authentic respect. The Fever showed they have the intensity to contend at the highest level without losing the class and camaraderie that strengthen relationships across the league. Fans didn't just witness standout performances. They saw a team beginning to shape its identity, competitive, passionate, and grounded in respect for the game and its opponents. The preseason has come to a close, and the Indiana Fever have officially put the league on alert with their flawless 3-0 record. But this isn't just about winning exhibition games. It's about catching early glimpses of something special taking shape in Indiana, perhaps earlier than anyone expected. The chemistry between Clark, Hull, Boston, Mitchell, and the rest of the roster has at times looked seamless. Now, the real test begins. Can this momentum carry into the grind of the regular season? Teams around the league have been analyzing film, especially on Clark, crafting tailored defensive schemes designed to throw her off rhythm and reduce her impact.